Hi, this is B.Asker, and this is my final presentation for POS 435, Women in Politics. I chose option one, which really asks us to define the reason or major reason for the political ambition gap with women, and then also discuss some policy reform elements and any other elements that we feel would mitigate the political ambition gap that currently exists in politics with women. So, to begin, to share my thesis, really to me, it's about three different policy reform pieces: one that impacts children, one that impacts media, and the final impacting really the government stance on a family first mentality. Those three policy reforms, in addition to really working on the way women are represented in media and a strong sponsorship and network of women supporting women, we will see a change in the gender stereotypes that exist in politics today, and we'll see a close in the political ambition gap. So really the major cause I feel for the political ambition gap is gender socialization. So my goal through what I'm going to take you through is to close that gap with gender socialization. So I'll start with the three policy reforms. First is with the children. So gender socialization begins at a young age. So looking at the No Child Left Behind public policy, we see an opportunity for us to really do two things. They state currently in the policy that we want to promote innovation and continuous improvement, and also support equity and opportunity for all students. So if we just focus here, we can impact our education system with reforming the curriculum and also ensuring more women are teaching science and math. So looking at curriculum itself, there's books such as Anti-Bias Curriculum, Tools for Empowering Young Children, and it speaks to topics such as learning about racial differences and similarities, learning about gender identity, topics and how to discuss it with adults around them so that if they're not getting the same environment at home, they can have an impact as well with what they're learning. So adjusting policy to include this sort of curriculum will help build the foundation in our children. Also, there's a study that was conducted by Dasgupta and Asghari around the impact of social environments on stereotypical beliefs expressed by women. And one of the biggest findings from their study was that the sex of the course instructor does impact automatic stereotypic beliefs. So by adding in policy regulations, ensuring that more balanced gender representation in subjects such as science and math in our school system will lead to reduction in gender bias. Media policy. So second policy for reform is around media. And I think here I want us to really stay focused on one piece: media plurality. So currently in our public policy around media, it states media plurality is a political goal, and there is a far-reaching consensus in democracies that it should be maintained so as to guarantee a free and diverse communications landscape. The problem with this policy is that plurality is not defined, so we end up with more bias in our media. What Austria did in 2001 was they enacted the Cartel Act, which actually gave definition to the word plurality, where they define plurality as an independent media through which coverage that considers different views is guaranteed. So by the U.S. adopting something similar, we'll see more diverse and non-biased media representation. The third policy that we would benefit from reforming is the Family Leave Act. So I think we learned a ton about this in the course this semester, and I really felt personally touched by Anne-Marie Slaughter's article and really just how that compared and contrasted with Sandberg's article. And I think about the personal experience and how they couldn't even serve in a high-powered political office for a long period of time. Thinking about Michelle Flournoy and Karen Hughes, as well as Anne Marie Slaughter herself. And the U.S. is the only industrialized country without any requirement that employees provide paid family leave without nationwide government-sponsored paid family leave. So we need to really reform that policy and become a family-first nation that supports women finding balance and feeling supported and entering high-powered careers. In addition to those 3 policy reforms, I think it's also important for us to focus in on how the media is representing women. Here I really think about the descriptive representation that Friddick and Kenny describe, and how women really impact women. There is that external efficacy that immediately comes from that descriptive representation. So girls will listen to women they identify with. So we need more strong women present in media that are representing women in a balanced, non-gender biased way. Last, we need sponsorship. So, Kornbluth has a quote that I want to leave us with. So, on the determining difference in why women are less likely to run for office, women are more than 1/3 less likely to be recruited to run for office. So just thinking about that, in order to get people to be interested in politics, we have to represent it the right way, make some changes with policy, start at a young age, and then we also need to tap women on the shoulder. We need to support nonprofit organizations such as Emily's List and the White House Project and make those known so the gender bias gap is closed. Thank you.